Welcome back to Dry Hollow Homestead. It's Danielle, and we're taking a little walk into the garden. I'm going to go through just a few of our meals from the past week and things that I'm preparing. I tried doing the Three Rivers Challenge, where you do every bit counts in July or August, and you put away or preserve a little bit of something every day in the month of August. So we're out in the garden doing cucumbers. I actually got this head cold thing going on and was feeling pretty rough. Coughing when you're in your third trimester is not fun and it's painful. So I did not keep up with every single day. But I am going to bring you along on what I do have and how we are preserving the garden. Very excited for this little one to join us at some point, probably in September. But we are waiting for this cow, our family milk cow, to give birth. She is due very soon. So as I am doing this voiceover, it is like August 11th or 12th, and she's due the 20th. So we are on calf watch. I am watching the rear end of my cow quite often. Hobbies change as you grow and get older. So here's a little bit of the harvest that we got this day. We have lots of purple pole beans coming in and fresh eggs coming in daily. And I'm kind of tired of purple pole beans, but I'm sure we will need them later. So for today, I'm actually just going to, on this day, I'm going to be making a dill relish. So I get that from the canning book that I will link in the description box. And I went exactly by the directions. And I washed up my canning cucumbers, my pickling cucumbers really well. And then I am going to be actually using my food processor to process this. This is my first time using the food processor in my preserving, and I have to tell you that helped so much. So I was not sure if I liked my food processor. We have had an on and off again relationship. That was just quite a pricey gadget, and I didn't know how much I would use it, but I'm going to be using, I think, a half a cup. I might have even doubled this recipe. I really should go back and see. I think I did. I think the recipe calls for, it does like 5 pints, and I doubled it to make 10 pints of dill relish. I do use dill relish whenever I make Big Mac salad. I do like a secret sauce, knockoff version of the secret sauce, and I use dill relish for that. And I also use dill relish anytime I'm making a tuna salad or if I'm doing egg salad. So I do use I do use dill relish quite often. Oh, I know what I did. I'm using my little chopper now for my onions. That is really handy, and I will link below. I'm so glad I got that several years ago, and I use it for onions and peppers. I even do tomatoes, but it kind of crushes the tomatoes. Maybe that's not the best idea. So what I was saying, I don't think I doubled it. I think I just made them into half pint jars instead of full pint jars, because that's about the size you get when you are buying your dill relish in the store. And I always have it in my fridge once I open it, so I didn't want to have a big container and open it and use just a couple tablespoons and then it goes bad. So we are stirring this up. I'm doing this all by the directions and cooking it down. This is my first time, like I said, ever doing dill relish, and we still have yet to open it. So I'm not 100% sure if it's going to be a hit. It smelled good, and I think so, and it's all from things we grew, so I was really happy with that. Well, the turmeric, you used turmeric in this. I didn't grow turmeric, but besides that, it's pretty close. So then we actually cook it down with some other ingredients, I believe. Like I said, you definitely need this canning book if you want to be canning on the regular. I use it every time in some capacity to check. I'm going to be filling my jars now, and that little ladle is, a friend of mine has a shop, and her husband has like a forge that he makes certain pots or skillets, and he made that ladle for me. So I will link their little shop below, but it is beautiful. and I use it all the time. I actually use it mostly for skimming cream off milk, but as you know, I am without the milk right now, so I'm not doing that. But soon, we'll be back in it soon. So this was a water bath canning recipe, so we just put it down in the canner, and out it is again, and then I had even more. I think I got like 14 half pints. So I think these are called jelly jars, but I just use them as this dill relish. And I'm having a little issue. I'm prepping my pole beans right now, just washing them, snapping off the ends. These are stringless. I never really have any strings, but I'm going to blanch these. And I got the directions for this in my preserving book. I can link that below too, on how long I needed to blanch them. I don't keep that kind of things in my head. I don't have way too much in my head to keep that in my head too. And then I'm going to freeze these in quart bags. So I wanted to say I am running out of space for canning. This is a good issue, I guess. I have lots of cans, and I'm getting even more into preserving more things from our homestead, growing more that I can use throughout the year. Potatoes is something that we are not even halfway done digging our potatoes, and I would love to get them in cans because our cellar is too moist to actually keep them without molding. So I need to do more space for my cans. And I'm not upset about that at all. I enjoy in the hot summer days to be inside in the kitchen doing projects, and I can't wait for fall to cool down just a little bit so I can get back outside. And hopefully this fall we will definitely this fall have a calf, so I'll have lots of reasons to be out milking, and we will also have a little one, so we'll see what I get done. We'll see how often I am. I have these big plans, but this is the zucchini, chocolate zucchini bars from Hope's Table. I will link her book in the description box. She's a local friend, and this is a great thing to do if you have extra zucchini. And I am going to see if she also might have this on her Instagram or her blog, so hopefully she does, because I can't give you all the exact measurements if it's not public. And I definitely suggest you buy this book, though. I think about every week that I do videos on like recipes that I've done and just projects in the kitchen, I am using her cookbook for several little things that have become staples in our kitchen. And I think she does say something like canola oil or something like that. I don't ever use canola oil, so I replace that with some avocado oil. But I was skeptical. I have had several of my neighbors say that this is a great dessert to make with zucchini. And once I shredded up the zucchini, I'm like, I don't know. I'm not big on zucchini breads and things like that. I will make them every now and then. But yeah, somebody has to request it for me to take the time to make that. So this was delicious, though. It was well worth the time and effort. It really wasn't that much effort or time, but it used up, I think it was like 2 cups of zucchini. And I could see the zucchini whenever I had my chocolate cake, right here, this dough. So I was quite questioning whether this was going to taste any good or whether my children were going to eat it, because everybody knows nobody wants to see green flecks of things in their food. But we actually put a ganache on top of this that we make with chocolate chips and heavy cream, and we whip that up and put it on top, so it kind of hides that zucchini, and you don't taste the zucchini very much. So I will make this again. My family, 90% of them liked it. So we have 7 people in our family right now, and 1 person did not like it. So it's pretty good odds. You can't always have everybody enjoy everything all the time. So whenever your odds are that good, that there's 6 out of 7 that like them, yeah, they'll be made again. So I actually did a lot of shredding any extra zucchini that I had, and I put them in 2-cup increments in my freezer. So I can do this with it. I can make the zucchini muffins. I can make the zucchini bread or the zucchini cake later during the winter if I feel like I want to. And I really need to, because once I get it in the freezer, I don't want it just to stay there. So remind me to do that. So yeah, you can see the dill relish beside me. Every single one of those sealed. It was a successful canning adventure, and I will let you know the first time we open them. I still have one store-bought in my fridge, so when that is done and we go to open our dill relish, I will let you know. If it is a hit, I really hope it is. I think I got 14 half pints, or the jelly jar of dill relish, so we'll see if that's, I really hope it's good. If not, it's gonna take us a while to get through. I'm hoping that means I don't really need to do that recipe next year. 14 sounds like a lot. We definitely don't go through one in a month, so that's definitely should be plenty for the next probably 2 years. So here's me and my beans again. I'm telling you what, I have so many green beans. They're not green, they're purple, but when you cook them, they turn green. But I also have loofah. A friend of mine, that one actually is dying off. I didn't know that, so I have more that are really big now. I should show you sometime. And their flowers are big yellow flowers. They were so beautiful. But I'm taking that cake out of the oven. And it, like I said, you could still see a little bit of the zucchini, so I wasn't absolutely sure if it would be a hit or not. And we are now doing that ganache. I have in the background, there's another zucchini casserole. Or not zucchini, a squash casserole. This is the season for the squash casseroles. And a store-bought heavy cream. And here's my head in the way, just in case you thought I was any kind of a professional. Let's just put that to rest right here. So I think it was I thought it was 2 cups. Maybe it's just 1 cup of the chocolate chips with some heavy whipping cream. We're just going to melt that together, and then we're going to transfer it to a bowl, and we're going to put it in the fridge. So once we have it in the fridge, we're going to just let it cool until it's completely cool. Take it back out and whip it real good until it's light and fluffy, and put it on top of our chocolate cake. This was really delicious. Like I said, you should try it. This is the glamour shot that I'm going to give you, so you can ooh and ah and see the texture. You definitely want to make these. We're down by the river, just enjoying a little bit of family time. Just going to show you some of our family scenes.
Wash your hands.
Okay, so I have some sourdough bread recipe that is amazing, and you really need to put it in your life if you're a sourdough baker. And I will have it in the description box below, but this is such a simple way to get 4 loaves of delicious, healthy sourdough bread out of your oven very quickly. So this is me dividing that dough, and I have little ones helping me always, and she gives it a thumbs up. She is learning how to shape her loaves, and there's no particular science to it, but you can make, with my recipe that I'll link in the description box, you can make this into 4 sandwich loaves, which is what my family prefers, or you can do the French bolets, or you can do French bread, or you can do it into hoagie rolls. You can do it into sandwich like hamburger buns or hot dog buns or dinner rolls. I have done every single one of those things, and it turns out great every single time. And I am trying to get as many loaves of bread prepped into my freezer as possible. So I make these 4 loaves. We usually eat 2 pretty quickly. 1 within the first day, so I leave 1 more out. I go ahead and slice them after they have cooled. I slice all 4 of them, and then I will put in my freezer whatever we aren't eating right away. So if we aren't planning on sandwiches like the next day for lunch or breakfast, I usually just go ahead and freeze my sliced bread put it in the freezer. Even if I want to get it out, if I have already sliced that bread, I can get it out, and it takes a little bit of effort, like immediately just separate the slices that I've done. And we don't have a toaster. I don't give up space on my counter for toasters, so we just put them in the oven to toast them up. And I can even do that from frozen, so it doesn't take long. My little helper Daisy is putting away some bananas that have went past their prime, which is actually the goal. We get a lot of bananas because we really want to freeze them once they get brown for our smoothies and in lots of things. We love having bananas in the freezer. So she is taking over this job for me. When she does it, she chops them into much smaller pieces than I normally would, but she does great. So this was one of my days. I will try to maybe number the days of the challenge that I did for the every bit counts challenge, but I'm not sure if I can keep all that in my brain, and I'm not too worried about it. But I have been intentional as trying every day. I did miss a couple days, like I said, with this cold stuff. I had no energy to do anything. But I am definitely trying to keep going in my freezer bagels and bread and sourdough things. My husband will be home for several weeks after this baby is born that I'm expecting, but he is not a baker. He is totally capable of keeping everyone fed. We will, under his care, not have desserts or fresh baked bread or anything baked. So that is fine. I am still so thankful he's capable of making our meals, because some husbands don't even do that. We're actually starting right now bagels, and I make a very large batch of bagels. I can put the recipe in the description box below, but I am putting things in the freezer so that we can get them out easily, and they will not, what I have put in the freezer won't last until the baby. But even just now, at least twice a week I make homemade bread, and I make 8 loaves a week, and I try to keep a couple in the freezer at a time. Not too long, because you don't want it to go. I probably have no bread that's ever been in my freezer more than like a week and a half, but we have fresh bread whenever we feel like thawing it out and eating it. Same with the bagels. I made it this time, and we put half of them in the freezer. That is such an easy breakfast. It's not even just a breakfast. It can be whenever. If you want a BLT on homemade sourdough buns or bagels, that's a win for sure. So I'm going to do this several more times before baby. I have plans to do a big, oh, look at my daughter there. She's feeding the starter and kneading it at the same time, just doing exactly what I'm doing. This sourdough bagel recipe comes together eventually. So this recipe actually sets out on the counter overnight, but here I just showed you our proofing loaves of bread, so then I'm doing 2 different things at one time. Oh, and our dill relish. I am out of space, so I've already started filling our schoolroom now on an empty shelf with canning supplies. But after baking these buns, yeah, well, they're buns, they're these loaves, that is what they look like. They are always a hit. They are very versatile. My family is quite spoiled. I don't know the last time we actually bought a loaf of bread from the store. I do know I've never bought one in the past year or two. If we have a party, we get some buns or something, but I do not just buy store-bought bread. So here are our beautiful bagels. We have shaped them already. This is the next morning, and I am slicing up all of my bread so that I can go ahead and put them in the freezer. So I hope this was an example if you want to divide into 16 or if you want to divide into 32, the size difference. But I hope I inspired you to maybe make one of these recipes, maybe the sourdough, and put something in your freezer. God bless. I'll see you again next time.